Okay. Yeah. Hi Archana, कैसे हो
Hi,
आप?
Kiran.
Okay.
Yes, everything is good.
Uh-huh. So
So
we'll pick up from the last time. Actually, last time when I uploaded your video, somebody had a question.
okay.
And the question that they had is, Archana ji, as you said, we are an ant in the ocean and we have a specific space. What is our role on this Mother Earth and how can we align ourselves with this nature? How should we behave? How can we get rid of our negative experience? Should we do some prayers or just be quiet and watch only? I mean, be a drishta. So, do you?
Okay. Kiran ji, what I'll do is I'll take the question in parts.
Mhm.
There are so many components.
Yes.
तो आप मुझे एक एक पार्ट रिलेट कीजिए और मैं उसका एज इट इज आंसर दूंगी.
ठीक
So
है.
what was the first
Okay.
section or first question that was asked?
The first question was, we all have a specific space, but what is our role on this earth and how can we align?
Okay.
Mm.
So about the role of a person or animal of any existing material in this universe is to do your job in the now.
Mhm.
Matlab, for example, at this moment, I have to give some information, some message. So I have to give it without any bias, without any want or any judgment, and just give the information as it is. Right now, in this moment, I am doing that job without the want of any return from it, without any expectation, or without any type of bias in it that this is my point of view, it is somebody else's point of view. Like I said before, this information is already existing on the planet, has been, is being relayed now, and will exist even after we leave. So nothing belongs to us if you really look at it properly. But there is a false attachment we develop कि दिस इज माइन, ये मेरा है, मैंने ये देखा है, मैंने इसे पढ़ा है, मैंने इसे खोजा है, ये मेरी वस्तु है. So the moment you associate any type of relationship with anything that matters to you, you have lost the purpose of your life right there, because then that becomes an attachment and you live in that time for a long period with that want. That will convert into karma, which will pass on to your next life.
Okay.
So, if you ask what is your role,
Uh-huh.
whatever you are right now as a person, if you are a mother, you're a father, you're a son, you're a daughter, you're a student, you're an engineer, you're a scientist, when the time is come, you do that work. In the morning, you get up, do your all Nitya Kriya, go to your office, do your job as that personnel there. You are a parent, take care of your children. If you have like parents, you need to take care of them. You have to do that to your best. There is no measure or guideline which tells who is the best or who can be better. Whatever your capacity, whether you're a millionaire, whether you're a pauper, you still have to act on them. This
Okay.
is the answer for the first part.
Okay. Then what is the purpose of our birth here?
The purpose of our birth will come out from exactly the first point that I made. The purpose of your birth is to live in this now and finish all those karmas.
Okay.
That is all there is. All the other dreams that you have, which you build for future and all, is just in hope and will only materialize in time if you put efforts towards it. For
Mm-hmm.
example, you want to say, become, say, a very good engineer or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
All the efforts that you put now, and then you plan for the future, and you will materialize it. You may be an excellent engineer, you may be an average engineer, or you may fail at that. The
Mm.
resultant of that is not something you can choose or pick. That is in time. You will be
Mm.
rewarded. You are also carrying energy from your past karma, which might help or debilitate your goal.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So, this is how you can actually fulfill your existence. And that is why I say The purpose is now.
Okay. And how should we get rid of our negative experiences, or how can we get rid of our negative experiences?
One has to understand that there is no getting rid of anything till you have an active ego, which is directly interrelated to your memory. So, without ego, memory will not exist. Without memory, ego will not exist. So,
Mhm.
till you are in this conscientious field where you are aware of everything, you can think of your past, you can plan for your future, you are living under the rule of genes and the planets that are ruling you. You cannot get free from them till you finish your karmas. So, the concept of enlightenment is the next step. Once you have finished all your karmas, you are freed from this bondage, the 8 bondages that we carry in this lifetime. So, you have to actually accept everything, good, bad, great, not so great, upsetting, humiliating, sad, angry, happy, everything that comes to you as a part of you and move on. It may take 10 minutes for somebody, it may take 10 years for somebody. End point is you have nothing but to accept. There is no other way, there is no way out. If you don't accept it, there will be pain and suffering for that time till you come to that acceptance.
Okay, so basically you're saying whatever comes your way, accept it instead
Yes.
of cribbing and crying about it. Because even if you have not done anything, maybe in this lifetime, maybe something, followed from your last lifetime, until unless you finish those, you'll not be able to move forward. So accept it, right?
Yes. Last times could be many lifetimes in the past.
Mm-hmm.
Also, by acting out in this life, all your behavior, all your reaction, and all the actions that you're taking will also accumulate towards future karmas. So it is a vicious cycle
Mm-hmm.
where you're creating and burning, creating and burning. The better you get at it, you are in line with getting into a equilibrium with nature. So when you master that,
Mm-hmm.
when you learn to accept whatever comes to you without any type of feeling or judgment, you are attaining or you are on the path of self attainment or self realization. The
Okay.
door to this path is very difficult to figure out because you need to have at least somebody open the door or you open it yourself through knowledge. So till the path is not shown to you or you cannot see it, there is no way of even interpreting how this journey could be.
Yeah, perfect. Perfect. Okay. So now we'll take, like, from where we left last time, like,
Okay, so
yeah,
questions खत्म हो
एक
गए. I
और
hope
एक
I
और
have.
क्वेश्चन है, वो है
Yeah.
हम अलाइन कैसे करें, हाउ डू वी अलाइन आवर सेल्फ विद नेचर?
Yeah, align would be the last part which I said. Ki
ओके.
you once you start accepting everything that is in your life without any type of judgment, you are aligning with nature, which means you are completely accepting yourself for who you are, what you have, what you don't have, and your place in relationship to the world, universe, or whatever you can say, environment. When you start accepting and you come in equilibrium, lot of stress in your body is relieved, it is reduced, and your body starts healing and starts getting stronger and stronger. So the first thing that happens is your mind will change. When the mind changes, the stress in the body starts to reduce, and when the stress reduces, healing automatically happens. This is a process which is unknown to us and it is quite hidden. I don't think we have the ability to comprehend this process because the sensory world that we live in, using our senses, or the Indriya world, we cannot perceive those energies which are working within our bodies, which is actually healing us, making us function in a particular way, and how it is acting in time. Acting in time, I mean, when you are hungry, you get hungry. When you're angry, you get angry. When you're happy, you get happy. All these things you cannot understand just by cutting a body, doing dissection, or doing some kind of medical study. These things are not understood. I can tell this for sure because I have a medical education. I never understood any of the functioning of the body. I just understood how the body looks from outside and inside. To understand the true functioning of it, you really have to go another step higher, or you have to have a higher learning. You have to have and help from the upper hand or some divine help to really understand the proper functioning, physiological functioning of this body.
Perfect, perfect. Okay, I think that's all the questions. तो हम लोग इसके आगे अब शुरू करते हैं, like from where we left last time.
Okay, so just to recapitulate, pehla slide we had just talked about the external environment and the internal environment, and how we are controlled by our senses, where we are acting with the external environment, where we are communicating, we are working, we are doing all our karmas from our body into the external environment. The second part was the internal environment, which is our self, where we are having our body. There is a body which is working on its own, independent of your ego, and it is living from moment to moment. It is not having any plan. It doesn't store, it doesn't make reserves, it doesn't make a plan for tomorrow. Its survival is dependent on the now. And this is controlled by the genes which are residing in every cell of the body, which is controlling each and every aspect and function of the cell, hence controlling the body. And the way we are interacting as an internal self or an organism with the external self, we watch it as human behavior. And because we are controlled mostly by our genes, most of the way we behave is already decided, it's fixed. And that is what we say we have inherited from our forefathers. But many years of living on this planet, you do some changes and you do some alterations. You didn't like the way you were behaving before, you changed it slightly, and then it becomes an acquired behavior. So this is still possible with a fixed inherited body. You can still change the outcome of how you do things in the external environment. It needs a lot of hard work, effort to acquire knowledge to bring about this change. And also, you need to have faith. The faith will only come once there is knowledge, which will make you realize that we are under the control of the environment, Mother Nature. We are not controlling anything. At the best, we are like puppets in this nature.
Right. Perfect.
So let's go to the next slide.
Yes.
So next slide, may I have just given two broad outlines where we have what we call dharma. I call this DNA because this is inside us. These genes are already inside us. The way we will do some things in our life, for example, the way I eat, the way you eat, you'll have different tastes, different habits, different times, different ways we'll enjoy food, different types of food we'll enjoy. So this is my dharma, and what genes you have will be your dharma, and you will adhere or stick with that dharma. I like to eat rice, you like to eat chapati. There is nothing good or bad about it. There is no judgment on it. It's a different type of food. Maybe I like to eat vegetarian, somebody likes to eat non-vegetarian. It is their dharma. Their forefathers, ancestors had it. They will eat those types of food because they'll have a natural tendency to like those foods. So it is inbuilt in them. So one should not make any judgment about what somebody else is doing, how they are doing, or what they are doing. Only thing is, if it is affecting you in some way, you can remove yourself from that situation, or you can inform the person that it is not acceptable to you and how you can better come to an understanding where you can live in harmony.
Mm-hmm.
Also, we have inherited these genes from our father and mother, which are our ancestors, our forefathers, foremothers, everybody. And we are also an intermediate or a link in transmitting this to our own children and then our grandchildren. Now, why is this dharma very important? This dharma or the genes which we are carrying, which is dictating every aspect of our life, it is in alignment with Mother Nature. So everything that is outside in the universe is affecting our body, and it is affecting through the nervous system in our body. There are certain glands in our body which we are not aware of. Some of them we have learned through scientific study and experiment, like we know about the pituitary gland, pineal gland. These are described well in medicine. But there are description of 64 such glands or important points in our body which are dormant, which we don't know, which is not even functioning in most of us. So why should this be important? So these glands are in place for the perfect functioning of the ideal human body, which we'll call as Kal Purusha. So the ideal first person who was described or who was born, I don't know how else to put it, had all these active in him, and he was the fully enlightened person. That's what they say, which means that the genes were aligning perfectly with the environment, and he had the perfect, sharpest nervous system and was able to execute the best kind of actions in nature.
Mm-hmm.
If I have to roughly describe, people who possibly had this type of alignment are all our demigods, like Sri Rama, Sri Krishna, all these avatars that were born and all. Only thing you can tell about their lives is they accepted every situation that came in their life. They
Right.
never said no to anything. They did their duties towards their family, towards their parents, towards the population, towards nature. Whatever was asked from them, they did it without any question. So, how many of us can say we have done at least 50% of what was asked from us? Forget somebody else, just our parents. So, if we have not done those things for the people who are closest to us, to whom we are duty bound, so how can you tell about some other relationship or something else, or about your job or about your health, your own health? How many of us take care of our own health, do the dharma towards our own body? We have failed so many times, repeatedly, and that is why we are unable to get rid of all these karmas in time, the time or the lifespan that we have been given in this birth. Unfortunately, we don't have memories of previous birth. Those genes are not active right now. So we don't have those memories with us of what we did in the past. But somehow we do experiences the outcomes of those births in this lifetime. And then we call, oh, I'm so lucky, or oh, I'm so unlucky.
Perfect. Yeah. Okay.
So, this is how dharma or your genes are aligning you with the nature. So, this is the autonomic nervous system part which is hidden, and it is not yet understood in this format, because in contemporary medicine, all your anatomy ends at autonomic nervous system. When it comes to that, how is the body functioning? If somebody asks, we'll just say it is automatic, it's working on its own. How is the heart beating? It's beating on its own. The origin is spontaneous. So when you leave it at that, it becomes very hard for us to go to the origin of any kind of disease in the body. If you say spontaneous and automatic, then every person becomes a very independent individual, cut off from the nature, which means that nature is having no effect on us. So this breaking of alignment with nature, or breaking ourselves from nature, will not let us understand what our place in this nature is, in this whole universe. What is our role or what we are doing, how this body is working within the system, what is equilibrium, what is the nervous system, how it is aligning us with the environment, and how we can actually accept whatever is coming and come to an alignment with this nature so that we have healthy bodies and a relatively happy lifestyle. I think at the end of the day, we
Mhm.
are all looking for only this.
Yes.
We may be saying, oh, I want to be the biggest millionaire, billionaire, I want to be the number one this and number one actor, or I want to be the chair of the department, or this, that.
Mhm.
All the people who have reached there, after then what? Their karma to reach there is burnt and it's over. All of them retire sometime. So that is the finishing of your karmas, which took you to that part, and now it is over. After that, you have to find something else to find your happiness. So, how long will you keep finding? You have only one lifetime.
Mhm.
So, there is nothing to find. The moment is right now to be happy and to be in alignment right now. Accept everything that is there in you right now, good and bad. This is the start. So, when we accept things,
Mhm.
whether we like it or we don't like it, without rejecting, without fighting, without arguing, we can also see that all the relationships around us, all the work environment around us, the domestic environment around us will start cooling down and will start getting more kind of satisfaction in just our own living without expectation of any achievement. So, this is only possible when your body is healthy and you are stress free in your body. You can only give happiness to others when you are happy from what you are within yourself in your environment. And this type of happiness cannot be achieved by getting a high post or position or looking for something in the outside environment. This is the classic thing that they have been explaining to us in our old scriptures. And that is why introspection or antardhyan is a prerequisite for anybody who wants to be happy or attain some kind of spiritual awakening. So, Kiranji, if you have any questions at this time for Dharma, I will take it now. Otherwise, I can go ahead for the next section, which is the karma and behavior, like how the output is and why we behave the way we behave.
Yeah, because I want to, I have one question for you. I had another question. I didn't write it down. तो मेरा पहला क्वेश्चन था, जैसे आपने बोला धर्मा, whatever comes you accept it. ठीक है ना? Does that mean if I am going on the road and a burglar comes to burgle me, should I like accept it as it is? Should I not fight back?
Yes, I will answer this to best of my knowledge.
Uh-huh.
So, when you're going on the road and you come in context or come in confrontation with a burglar,
Uh-huh.
now what is the dharma of your body? Are you going to stand and let him assault you or this thing? Will you not defend yourself? Will you not act at that minute and protect yourself?
Of course.
That is your dharma. You will not even think, this is inbuilt in you. The first dharma of any organism is to save yourself.
Okay.
When that action happens, it
Mm-hmm.
will not have any judgment whether you hit him or you hurt him or anything. You are defending yourself. So you are not having any karmic actions in defending yourself. This is how exactly Sri Krishna has explained to Arjuna. Don't think of the consequences. You have to do your karma. You have to act. Otherwise, you
Yeah.
will lose your life.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Exactly.
So, what is dharma for you? Protect yourself.
Mm-hmm. True. I get it. Yes. Yes. Perfect.
Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
when this event happened, you did some actions. You either ran away, you shouted for help, you hit him, you took him down, or you got beaten and you got robbed. One of these things will happen, right?
Yes.
This is
Yes.
the event. Now it has happened. Now, what are you going to do after this event has happened? For 10 days, you'll be in fear. For 10 days, you'll be crying. For 10 days, you'll be, I'm just giving 10 days as a ballpark. For some people, it may be 10 years.
Yeah. 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 True. True.
Now, what are you going to sit and crib about? Why it happened to me? The answer for that question is
Yes.
nobody knows. It was just that time for you to encounter that situation. It was written in your
Mhm.
bhagya. You can't argue with that. You can go and ask 101 deities why you gave this karma to me. You can sit and microanalyze and macroanalyze or whatever you want to do. You
Mhm.
will never find an answer. This is somewhere in your past. This event was planned long time ago and it is materialized in this lifetime that you have a memory of now. How do you know how many times you were robbed before? How many times you were burglarized? How many times you had to face some kind of calamity? We don't have the memories. Similarly, so many people face so many of disasters, especially with this coronavirus and all. You think they will carry on these memories? No, the memories per se will not be carried on, but the karmic events that happened will be carried on genetically.
Yes. Yes. Perfect.
So how you will react in future, in the future births towards any type of these disasters will depend on how you reacted now. So for example, Kiranji, if you have like, in the past you have been very brave, you took charge, you gave that person to, and you were able to save yourself,
Mhm.
very likely in this lifetime, that thing will arise in you and you will act exactly the same way. And
Yes.
you will not have much of a thought after it. Oh, ये हो गया चलो मैंने अपना देख लिया, and you'll forget and you'll be brave and you'll move on.
Mhm.
Last time if you were scared and you were like, beaten up or something, you might face the same situation again now. What are you going to do? Are you going to get up the courage and do it differently now, or you're going to repeat the same? And then that will become a suffering for you because you were not able to accept it.
Yes.
So there is no way we can accept or we can deny any type of immediate situation that comes in front of our life. You don't know what the next minute has for you, right?
Yes.
You
Yes.
cannot plan for it. You may be sitting and talking with me now. A minute later, maybe some kid will come and ask you, can I get some food? You have to immediately go and prepare some food and all. Or, you may just think in your mind, oh, I have to go shopping for groceries, or I have to go and do this falana or this timkana kam. Something will come. You really don't have planned. What you have planned is your majority of life. Oh, I'm going to educate myself for this. I'm going to do this type of a job. I will find this. You have hopes, but you really don't know what the plan for you is.
Yes. I agree. I agree with you, Archana. But
Understand, understand
uh,
the difference
uh-huh.
between what you have planned through your ego and what actually will materialize for you might be different if your bhagya is not that strong.
I agree. I agree. Yeah. But Archana, we are running out of time. It's two already because most of our time went in answering the questions that we have. So maybe next time we'll have our third slide.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I think next time we'll go on the karma, the behavior and output
Yes,
part, because that part we didn't touch. Maybe that will
exactly.
take half an hour because there's a
Perfect.
lot of explaining.
Perfect.
So we'll
Perfect.
take it from there and just revise a little bit of the dharma that we spoke this time.
Perfect. 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 Thank you very much, Archana. And next time we'll, dwell more on. And if anybody has questions, we'll answer those questions and then we'll take it from there.